Capricorn, what do you do when the very hands that were meant to protect you become the same hands that wound you? What do you do when the voice that once called you family becomes the whisper that spreads against your name? This is not the betrayal of a stranger on the street. No, this is something heavier, something sharper. This is the kind of betrayal that does not just scratch the surface of your skin. It goes deeper, cutting into the very bones of trust. When it comes from your own sister, the one who should have stood beside you, the pain is not just pain, it is confusion. And when another family member joins her, it feels like the ground beneath your feet has broken apart. Because if you cannot lean on your own blood, then where do you lean? Capricorn, I know this wound is not easy to talk about. It is the kind of wound you hide from others because you do not even know how to explain it. People may say, just move on. But how do you move on when the betrayal came from the very people who were supposed to stand as your shield? Yet you are here, listening to these words, because deep inside you already know the truth. What has been done in the shadows cannot stay hidden forever. Lies have short legs. Deception has a short life. What was whispered in secret will soon echo in the open. And what was plotted behind your back will soon turn back on those who conspired. Yes, Capricorn, your sister did something awful. Yes, a family member chose to join her. But the story does not end with their plan, it ends with their downfall. It ends with karma walking into the room like a guest no one invited, but no one can stop. And most of all, it ends with your rising. So before we begin, type these words in the comments as your shield, your protection, and your release. Karma never misses. Say it once, write it once, and let your spirit breathe out the heaviness. Because when you declare it, you are reminding yourself that you do not need to fight this battle with your own hands. The universe, the creator, the one who sees all, is already standing in the gap for you. Stay with me until the very end, Capricorn. Because what I am about to share with you is not just about betrayal. It is about survival, awakening, and divine justice. This message will uncover why you had to experience this pain, why you are still chosen even after being wounded, and why protection has been around you even in silence. So let your heart be still. Let your spirit lean in. The storm they created against you is about to meet a greater force, the force of truth, the force of balance, the force of karma, the shadow of betrayal. Capricorn. Betrayal inside a family feels like standing in the middle of a storm with no shelter. It is not the same as losing a friend or being lied to by a stranger. Those wounds hurt, but you can walk away. Family wounds, they chase you. They follow you into your sleep. They echo in your memories. When a sister, someone who grew up with you, someone who once held your hand, someone who knew your joys and your secrets, chooses to act against you, the weight is almost unbearable. It is like the ground you trusted has cracked open beneath your feet. The same voice that once spoke kindness now speaks against you. The same presence that once gave comfort now carries danger. She may have whispered lies in places you could not hear. She may have twisted your story until others began to question who you really are. She may have taken something that was never hers, reaching into your life and stealing what you built with your own sweat and tears. And in that moment, you discovered something even darker. A family member joined her. Someone who should have stood as a pillar beside you instead chose to stand with her. This is why betrayal feels like poison. It does not only strike once, it spreads. It contaminates trust. It makes you wonder if love was ever real. It silences the heart because suddenly the home that was supposed to be safe feels unsafe. You begin to question your worth. If my own blood can turn against me, what does that say about me? But hear me, Capricorn. Their actions do not lower your value. Their betrayal is not a mirror of who you are. It is a reflection of who they are. When people choose to deceive, it does not expose weakness in the one betrayed. It exposes emptiness in the one who betrayed. It reveals their shadows, their bitterness, their hunger for something they could never earn on their own. Yes, betrayal can break trust. Yes, it can shake the heart, but it cannot remove the truth of your spirit. You are still chosen. you are still protected. And though their shadow has fallen over you, light will always return. The depth of your pain. Capricorn, let us not pretend this did not hurt you. The wound you carry is real. It is not a small scratch that heals in a day. It is not a passing disappointment that you can brush aside. This is the kind of pain that settles in your chest like fire, burning, heavy, and impossible to ignore. There were nights you lay awake with questions that refused to rest. Why her? Why them? Why family? You searched for reasons, but none of them made sense. The betrayal came from the last place you expected. From the ones who should have lifted you higher, not pushed you lower. And so the questions turned into tears, the tears into silence, and the silence into a weight you carried when no one was watching. You may have felt abandoned, as if those you loved most left you standing alone. You may have felt cornered, like there was no safe space to hide, no shoulder to lean on. You may have even felt silenced, afraid to speak of the wound because you were not sure anyone would truly understand. But Capricorn, listen closely. This pain is not a sign of weakness. It is evidence of your purity. It is proof that your heart was open, that you trusted deeply, that you carried love without conditions. Only those who have the courage to love can feel such pain when that love is betrayed. And though this wound feels heavy, it is also the beginning of transformation. The soil of heartbreak is where the seed of strength is planted. Every tear you shed is watering that seed. Every sleepless night is pressing it deeper into the ground. And one day, that seed will grow into a strength so unshakable that no betrayal will ever move you again. So yes, the pain is deep, but so is your spirit. And what was meant to break you will become the very thing that builds you into someone stronger, wiser, and untouchable. When blood turns against you. Capricorn, blood is not always loyal. We are taught to believe that family will always stand with us, that blood ties can never be broken. But life has a way of showing us a different truth. Some people are tied to you by body, but not by spirit. Some share your last name, but not your values. And sometimes the very ones you thought would fight for you are the ones who sharpen their knives behind your back. The moment your sister turned her heart against you, something in the spirit shifted. She revealed a side of herself that you may have sensed before, but never wanted to believe. It wasn't just a single act, it was a choice. A choice to stand outside of truth. A choice to give room to envy. A choice to let darkness use her instead of light guide her. And when another family member joined her, it was like a second blow to your heart. Because it wasn't just one, it became two. Not one shadow, but two shadows working together. One betrayal could have been explained away, but two? That feels like confirmation. That feels like the world within your home turning upside down. Capricorn, this is where the wound runs deepest. You look around the table and ask yourself, if they could betray me, who else can I trust? You question whether the smiles you see are genuine or masks. You wonder how many conversations about you have happened in secret rooms, with your name twisted and reshaped into something unrecognizable. But hear this. Their betrayal is not proof of your weakness. It is proof of their emptiness. It is evidence that their spirit could not match the integrity you walk with daily. Where you chose patience, they chose envy. Where you chose honesty, they chose lies. Where you chose to build with your hands, they tried to destroy with their tongues. Yes, it hurts. It hurts in ways words can barely describe. But the betrayal is also a revelation. It unmasks those who walked beside you pretending to love you. It exposes those who smiled at your victories, but secretly wanted your fall. It shows you that blood does not always mean loyalty, and DNA does not always mean devotion. And here lies a hard but liberating truth. Sometimes the family you are born into is not the family that will carry you into destiny. Sometimes the bloodline itself becomes the battlefield where your spirit is tested and strengthened. Your sister's betrayal and the family member's choice to join her are not signs that you are cursed. They are signs that you are chosen. Because only the chosen are tested this way. Only those carrying a mantle of greatness experience betrayal at this level. Think of it. The greatest stories of strength are born from wounds inflicted by those closest. Even the strongest souls in history faced betrayal not from enemies outside, but from friends, brothers, and kin within. And yet, they rose. And so will you. Capricorn, do not let their actions convince you that love is dead. True love still exists. True loyalty still stands. But what you have been given through this betrayal is a sharper vision. You now know who is truly for you and who never was. You now understand that support is not always found in bloodlines. It is found in kindred spirits. In people who choose loyalty, even when they don't have to. So yes, it hurts to admit that blood has turned against you. But their actions are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of clarity. They are the lesson that will keep you from walking blindly in the future. And though their betrayal created wounds, those wounds will become wisdom. Wisdom that no one can take away from you. And here you are, Capricorn, not broken but awake, not destroyed but wiser. You walk forward carrying not just pain but revelation. You now see who was truly walking with you and who was secretly walking against you. And that vision will guide you into a future where betrayal can no longer blindside you again. Here's the truth they forgot, Capricorn. Every seed produces a harvest. Nobody escapes the law of cause and effect. What you plant, you will always eat from. If you plant peace, peace returns. If you plant kindness, kindness finds its way back. But if you plant betrayal, then betrayal becomes the fruit you must taste. Your sister and the family member who joined her believed their actions would remain hidden. They thought their whispers would disappear in the air. They thought their schemes would go unnoticed. But what they forgot is that nothing sown in the dark stays buried forever. Every seed eventually pushes its way into the light, and the seeds they planted, lies, envy, betrayal, will grow, but not into victory for them. They will grow into thorns that choke their own plans. The very words they used against you will circle back and trap them. The very road they paved to make you stumble will collapse beneath their own feet. They believed you were too quiet to notice, too trusting to question, too gentle to defend yourself. But they underestimated the power that watches over you. They underestimated karma. Capricorn, karma is not revenge. Revenge seeks to harm, but karma seeks to balance. Karma is the divine teacher that makes sure nothing is left unsettled. Karma does not forget. Karma does not delay. Karma ensures that what was done in secret is revealed in daylight. The shadow they tried to hide in cannot protect them when truth comes like morning light. And already, the scales are tipping. Already the ground they built their false foundation on is beginning to shake. The path they created against you is caving beneath their own steps. Their harvest is coming, not because you wished it, but because it was written into the order of the universe. Capricorn, you do not need to chase justice, it is already chasing them. You do not need to lift a hand in anger, karma has already lifted its hand. And when it strikes, it will not strike in whispers. It will strike in ways that cannot be denied. The world will see what they tried to hide, and the shame they wished for you will return to them multiplied. So do not fear and do not dwell in bitterness. Their actions have already written their outcome. Their own choices have already shaped their destiny. And you, Capricorn, can walk forward knowing the universe has already taken note and balance is already on its way. Why they did it. Capricorn, envy is often dressed in the disguise of family. It wears a smile, it sits at the same table, it calls you by your name, but deep inside, it burns when it sees you rise. This is the hidden truth behind what your sister did. She did not act out of love, she acted out of jealousy. She saw your strength, the way you carry yourself even in hard times. She saw your discipline, how you do not give up when life tests you. She saw your rising, how slowly and quietly doors begin to open for you that once seemed closed. And instead of clapping for you, instead of cheering for you, she let envy grow in her heart like a shadow. And that shadow pushed her to act in ways you never thought she would. And the family member who joined her? Their reason was not love either. It was fear. Fear of being overlooked. Fear that if you continued to shine, no one would see them. Fear that your light would make their own insecurities stand out. So instead of supporting you, they chose to stand with her. They thought by pulling you down, they could rise higher. They thought by staining your name, theirs would shine brighter. But they were wrong. Understand this, Capricorn. Their betrayal is not proof of your weakness. It is proof of your power. People do not try to break what has no value. People do not fight against someone who is not already carrying something heavy, something precious, something meaningful. They turned against you because you already hold what they could not grasp. You carry gifts they could not match. You walk with a purpose they could not reach. Their actions reveal more about them than about you. They reveal hearts that could not celebrate someone else's blessings. They reveal minds that could not rest seeing your progress. But their jealousy cannot stop what is meant for you. Their fear cannot block what has already been written in your name. Capricorn, remember this. Jealousy is the confession of those who cannot create what you have built. Their betrayal is not a reflection of your flaws. It is a reflection of your greatness. They tried to throw dirt on your name because they saw it shining too bright. They tried to stain you because your rising was proof that they were standing still. So do not carry their envy as your burden. Do not wear their fear as your shame. Stand firm knowing this. If they turned against you, it is because you are already standing in a place of power they cannot reach. There are moments, Capricorn, when you sat alone and asked yourself, why didn't God stop them? Why didn't He close their mouths? Why didn't He expose their plans before they could hurt me? These questions have echoed in your heart, especially on the nights when the pain felt too heavy to carry. But understand this truth: silence is not absence. Just because God did not shout or intervene in the way you expected, does not mean He was not there. His silence was not a sign of weakness. His silence was not approval of what they did. His silence was part of a greater plan. Sometimes God allows betrayal to unfold. Not because He delights in your tears, not because He enjoys watching your suffering, but because He is revealing something you could not have seen on your own. Without betrayal, you would have never known the hearts of those around you. Without betrayal, you would have continued to trust people who were secretly sharpening their knives behind your back. Capricorn, think about it. If God had stopped it before it happened, you might still believe that your sister's love was pure. You might still believe that the family member beside you would never turn against you. But now you know. Now you see their hearts for what they truly are. Their masks have fallen, and the truth stands exposed. Protection is not always God removing the storm. Sometimes, protection is God showing you who is willing to bring the storm to your doorstep. Sometimes, protection looks like betrayal being allowed to happen so that the hidden enemy within your circle is revealed. It may hurt, but it saves you from walking blindly into a deeper destruction later. Capricorn, what feels like abandonment is actually wisdom in disguise. God did not stop the betrayal, but He stopped it from destroying you completely. He let you see enough to open your eyes, but He still covered you so their full plan could not succeed. His silence was your shield. His silence was His way of saying, I will let them reveal themselves, but I will not let them destroy you. So even in the silence, you were never unprotected. Even in the betrayal, you were never truly alone. And one day, when you look back, you will understand that the silence of God was not punishment. It was preparation. Your strength after the wound. Capricorn, you are stronger than you realize. The betrayal that was meant to break you did not destroy you. It shaped you. It carved you like a stone in the hands of a sculptor. Every sharp edge, every painful cut has revealed a deeper strength inside of you that even you did not know was there. The betrayal did not crush you. It carved you. It chiseled away the parts of you that trusted too quickly. It refined the part of you that once gave freely without question. And though it hurt, it left you standing taller, wiser, and more unshakable than before. This pain, Capricorn, became the teacher you never asked for, but the one you needed. It taught you the value of your energy. It taught you that not everyone who smiles deserves your trust. It taught you that discernment, The ability to see beyond words is one of your greatest gifts. Now you see more clearly. You notice the small signs you once overlooked. You recognize the energy behind the words people speak. You trust less blindly, not because your heart has grown cold, but because your spirit has grown wise. And this, Capricorn, is where your story begins to change. Because while your sister and the family members sit in the shadow of their own choices, you are stepping into the light of resilience. They remain bound by envy and fear, but you rise free, carrying the wisdom their betrayal handed to you. Capricorn, you are not weaker because of what happened. You are stronger. You are not smaller because of their actions. You are larger, filled with a strength that was born from fire. And this strength will carry you into the next chapter of your destiny, with a power no betrayal can ever steal. The promise of divine justice. Capricorn, divine justice is never late. It does not forget. It does not sleep. It does not lose its way. It arrives in the exact moment it is meant to. And when it comes with precision. The betrayal you faced was meant to break you, but instead, it became your testimony. What they thought would silence you has only given your spirit a louder voice. What they thought would crush you has only lifted you higher. They believed they had stolen something permanent from you, your peace, your trust, your confidence. But what they took was temporary. It was only the surface. The eternal things, the ones that matter most, can never be touched. Your destiny cannot be stolen. Your anointing cannot be replaced. Your purpose cannot be destroyed. Capricorn, justice is already moving. What belongs to you is circling back. What they tried to block will flow again. What they tried to dim will shine brighter. And when divine justice completes its work, the world will see the difference. Their betrayal will be their burden, but your story will be your crown. Capricorn, your sister may have betrayed you. A family member may have joined her. Their words may have cut you. Their actions may have wounded you. Their choices may have shaken the ground beneath your feet. But listen carefully. Their betrayal is not the end of your story. It is only the beginning of theirs. Karma will handle what you cannot. Justice will reach where your hands cannot go. The weight of their choices will return to them in full measure. You do not need to fight with bitterness. You do not need to waste your strength on revenge. The universe, the Creator, has already taken account of every word, every plan, every act. Nothing is missed. Nothing is ignored. Your role now is to rise, to heal, to let the wound become wisdom instead of chains, to let your pain become a story of strength rather than a mark of weakness. Your role is to walk with quiet dignity, knowing that nothing escapes divine eyes. The same God who saw Joseph betrayed by his brothers, the same God who saw David hunted by his own kin, is the same God who has seen you. He does not forget. He does not fail. Capricorn, do not seek revenge. Do not dwell in bitterness. Those emotions will only trap you in the same darkness they are already living in. Instead, choose freedom. Choose peace. Choose to stand tall, breathe deeply, and walk forward. Your future's not behind you, it is ahead of you. And no betrayal can cancel what has been written in your name. So type it one last time in the comments. Karma never misses. Let the universe hear your release. Let heaven record your faith. Let your words be your shield as you step out of this chapter and into the next. Stay connected, Capricorn. Subscribe because more revelations are unfolding and you deserve to be prepared for them. You deserve to hear what is waiting for you, so you do not walk blindly but with clarity, with wisdom, and with strength. And remember this, betrayal is temporary, but your destiny is eternal. Betrayal may wound the present, but it cannot touch the future. It cannot erase the promises over your life. It cannot remove the crown that was set aside for you before you even took your first breath. No matter who turned against you, whether it was your sister or another family member who joined her, your victory was written long before they ever planned your downfall. They moved in shadows, but your story is unfolding in light. They acted out of envy, but your future is rising out of grace. And nothing, not their lies, not their schemes, not their fear, can stop what has already been chosen for you. Capricorn, walk forward. Walk into your victory. because it is already yours.